Hello Facebook. Today I'm going to talk to you about ways that you can tell if your cleaner is ripping you off, cheating you out of your money, and is generally just not doing a good job. So I'm Scott from Cleaning Excellence. Thank you for watching. We all know that you get what you pay for. I've spoken about that before in cleaning, as you do in most things in life. But some of the subtle ways that you could find out if your cleaner's doing a good job, that things that most people don't know to look for or just don't look for. There's some ones in here that you may have heard of before, and probably some that you haven't. So today I'm going to go through the 7 ways you can tell if your cleaner is ripping you off, and we'll see if you could tick them off, if there's something you've been able to notice with your cleaner or not, or have you even thought to have a look at these things before. So the first thing is fittings and fixtures. It's really simple. A lot of cleaners don't even mention them. We do them as a matter of course in all our properties that we look after. Things like light switches, door handles, air conditioning remotes, towel rails and things like that in bathrooms. Those little things, the fiddly things that often get a lot of fingerprints, they often get left. Door handles and light switches especially. Our policy is if your hand's touching it on any regular basis, we'll just wipe it down for you. That's the first way you can have a check of your current cleaner, just to see if they're doing some good work or not for you. Another way is to have a look under the toaster. So when you're doing a kitchen clean, obviously, you can just do a quick wipe down the bench, and maybe that's what you've asked for, that's fine. But if you've agreed to have a proper clean of your kitchen, that would mean cleaning both the appliance itself, but also lifting them up. So toasters, kettles, etc. And it's especially toasters, especially, we've got little crumbs that are left underneath, can attract mice, can attract cockroaches and other things and unwanted pests in your house. And often we don't lift our toaster. It's usually placed on the bench and it's left there. So one of the ways you can find out about whether your cleaner is doing a little extra for you is to simply lift up your toaster and are there crumbs under there or not. So that's way number 2. Another way to tell, or the third way to tell, again in the kitchen, is to look inside the microwave and have a look on the roof of the microwave. Because most microwaves are below eye line. And so it's really easy for someone to just do the plate and the bits that you can easily see when you open the door. But bend down, have a look at the top of the inside of the microwave. Is that being cleaned? And any other surface like that, anywhere where it's not easily within the eye line of the person, that's a real test of a cleaner is doing a good job or not. Have a look in those areas outside of the normal eye line, like the roof of the microwave. So the fourth one I want to mention today is at the back of the toilet, the S-bend. Most of the time we only see the top of the toilet, so we see the cistern, the seat itself and in the bowl. But what about behind the bowl and the S-bend and behind that on the floor, where often we don't see, we don't look? That's another really good way to tell if your cleaner's being thorough or just cutting corners to get the job done as quick as possible. Have a look behind the S-bend and see if that's been wiped down properly. Number 5 that I wanted to talk about is the sink plug. So often now we have a lot of our sinks have the metal plugs that sort of fit in there. Just pick it up and have a look underneath. Is it full of gunk and brown sludge that's been built up over many weeks or months, or has it actually been cleaned? It's relatively easy to keep them clean. If you give them a clean every time you're on the property, doing the cleaning, you just pick it up and clean it with a cloth. It takes 30 seconds. But it's the sort of thing that a lot of people would miss, both in terms of the cleaner themselves and then you as the person having your house or your business cleaned. You don't think to look. So looking under there is another way to find out if your cleaner's doing a good job. Number 6, in the corners of doors, often in vacuuming, cleaners and this can take a lot of extra time if they do it properly, they'll leave the vacuum head on and just do the main part of the floor, but around the door jambs, behind the door, obviously behind the door, that's a common one, but in the door jamb itself, alongside bits of furniture, the skirting boards, that sort of thing, have a look around and see, are they taking the time to take the vacuum head off and go around there with the pipe and just getting those little bits and pieces. That's a big time saver for cleaners. If they don't have to take the vacuum head off and actually be thorough, it can save them in an average, say, 4-bedroom house. It could save them 15 minutes worth of time. So we always do it. We take the vacuum head off and we get around and we get around the whole carpet. And it's something you should be checking if your cleaner's doing as well. And then the number 7 idea or tip I can give you today, and this is another one that people don't often think about. On the bottom of kitchen chairs, a lot of people now have felt, especially if you have hard floors, have little pieces of felt so that your chair doesn't scratch the hard floor, which is a great idea. It's a really good idea to protect your floors with that. But if you have any form of hairy pet, or even if your husband, for example, is a hairy man, any fluff and hair is going to collect on that felt very easily. It's almost like a magnet for it. Collects on there very easily. So the way to do it properly is you put the chairs on top of the table when you're vacuuming the floor. If you take the handle off and just give those little bits of felt a quick vacuum, it stops that going back on the floor. Nothing worse than having a freshly mopped floor that you put the chair back on and you're just smearing fluff and dirt and hair across a clean floor. It's a little thing, it's not hard to do, but a lot of cleaners probably aren't doing it. So that's a good thing to see. Is your cleaner just caring enough about your job that they're going to do these little extra things? They're obviously minor, some of them are a bit more major, but altogether these things can add up to the difference between having an okay clean and a great clean. Hopefully this has been of some help and benefit. If you've got any other ideas and tips that you could think of, I'd love to hear from you. Just type into the comments ways that you've like to check that your cleaner's doing a good job. Again, I've been Scott from Cleaning Excellence, and we floss toilets.